हाय गाइस, गुड आफ्टरनून। आज है 1 मार्च 2022 और शिवरात्रि का दिन है। बहुत अच्छा दिन है। कुछ बात करेंगे, कुछ समझेंगे स्टॉक मार्केट के बारे में और करंट सिनेरियो को ध्यान में रखते हुए बात करेंगे। एंड आज हम बात करेंगे कि रशिया और यूक्रेन की जो ये वॉर हो रही है, इससे हमारे इंडिया के स्टॉक मार्केट में which sectors are going to benefit and which will lose out. So before I go on anywhere, I'm your host, Dr. 𝐖𝐡𝐚𝐭𝐬𝐀𝐩𝐩. I'm a SEBI registered research analyst. Welcome to my world, which is Stock Pro. I'm going to discuss something about stocks and stock market and the upcoming trends. So let's begin. So first and foremost, let me just give you the contact details in case you want to get in touch with my team. Here is Telegram, website, Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, mobile number, wherever you want to go. So I'm going to talk about today Russia and Ukraine conflict. How is this going to affect the Indian stock market? That's my topic today. So, whenever there is a war, always remember it never benefits anybody except the people who are making the weapons, right? But there are always most of the times, everywhere there are losses. There are loss of human body, there is loss of wealth, loss of time, loss of emotions. Everything is almost on the losing footage. But sometimes some industry do benefit and sometimes a lot of industries are impacted. We're going to talk about today with respect to this Russian and Ukraine conflict, how Indian stock market is going to affect. नाउ सबसे पहले हम बात शुरू करते हैं कि जब से ये रशिया का इन्वेजन हुआ यूक्रेन के ऊपर, यूरोप एंड यूएसए हैज इम्पोज्ड बैन ऑन रशिया. दे हैव बीन इम्पोजिंग अ लॉट ऑफ सैंक्शंस ऑन रशिया. क्या मतलब हुआ इस बात का? इस बात का ये मतलब हुआ कि जो बिजनेस है दैट इज बीइंग लाइक दे आर इम्पोजिंग बैन ऑन बिजनेस विद रशिया. दैट्स द फर्स्ट इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट. Now they have also banned SWIFT payment system from Russia. So let's understand what is the SWIFT payment and then we'll go on to the next point. So I have opened up this news for you people and which talks about, what is SWIFT and what shutting Russia out of it means. So basically you should understand that SWIFT is not a transaction body. Rather, it is a body which is a mediator, right? So I don't know how many of you will remember, अगर आप कोई इंटरनेशनल ट्रांजैक्शन करते हो तो उस समय क्या होता है कि एक स्विफ्ट कोड आपको देना पड़ता है. मतलब आपके बैंक से दूसरे बैंक के बीच में जो ट्रांजैक्शन होगा वो उस स्विफ्ट कोड के थ्रू होगा अगर वो इंटरनेशनल बैंक्स है. Now, banning this SWIFT transaction simply means that Russia will have a huge difficulty in trading with international bodies, particularly with Europe and America. And a lot of exports do take place from Russia to European Union and which may be hampered, right? The only country which has been banned in the past was Iran. And when that happened, they lost almost like 1/3 of their business, right? So let's come down to how is it going to affect Indian market? Like this ban, SWIFT ban on Russia, how is it going to affect Indian market? So let's go on and talk about with the help of my slides that I have made for you. And then we go on to the next, how this disruption can help or where it cannot help the stock market. In turn, which sectors are going to be hit badly and which sectors will be benefited. This is what we will be talking about. So what is happening right now? Because of this skirmish between Russia and Ukraine, India may get some limited gains from Western sanctions on Russia. Some limited gains, for some time. I'm not saying all the industries will benefit, but some industries may benefit and a lot of industries may be adversely affected. मतलब उनका business down जा सकता है. Now, India's macroeconomic indicators and the corporate earnings may come under pressure amid the deepening conflict in Ukraine. As crude prices are increasing exponentially, it will affect international energy prices. India imports 85% of the crude oil, and costlier crude oil will widen the current account deficit. This is an important point, and let's understand this in more detail. On Friday, the gone Friday, which is I think 25th of February, oil prices jumped another 2%, and the price went above $101 a barrel. Now, for now, oil prices in India has been kept constant, and the reason for that is the ongoing elections, and the government doesn't want to affect sentiments adversely. So what are they doing? They are using the reserves so that the oil prices can be maintained. But as soon as the oil marketing companies will start hiking the price, it would fuel inflation and raw material cost for corporates, which would sooner or later be passed on to the consumers and leaving them with less disposable income. In turn, it is going to increase inflation, right? Actually, when the crude prices go up, there are a lot of things happen. One is that the profit margins of companies go down if they don't increase the price. And if they increase the price, the consumers' disposable income goes down, right? So both ways it affect the economy. So let's talk about macro impact. If this crude prices keep on going up, I'll just show you how the crude prices have shot up in the last 6-7 months. But let's just understand the whole scenario. So bigger the oil bill, crude imports are already above $100 billion, again $62 billion in year 2021. This is really a huge jump, almost like 55 60% jump, right? Impact of every 10% rise in crude prices can affect in three adverse ways. First, the GDP falls. Second, the current account deficit rises. And the fourth is consumer inflation spikes. All of them are definitely not good for economy. And one more factor that just has come into our notice yesterday was that the GDP has already shrunk, right, which is not a good sign. Now, how the earnings are going to affect, if crude oil prices is going up, right, what is going to happen to the earnings? So the first impact will be on the oil marketing companies. So how is it going to impact the oil marketing companies? The first point is oil marketing companies margins have already turned negative, right? And then retail fuel accounts for nearly 2/3 of the total operating profits of operating oil marketing companies. Now, if the prices of crude going to go up by, if government allows prices to go up, then what will happen? The retail will not be able to buy it, right, as much as they're buying now. Once the retail fuel accounts will go down, definitely it's going to affect the oil marketing companies majorly. The second effect of this entire conflict is going to be on the automobile companies. So what does that really mean? You should understand that Ukraine is one of the biggest producer of a lot of raw materials which are used in automotive. Like for example, neon gas, right, which is used in chip making. I don't know how many of you have noticed, in past 6 months or 1 year, there has been a good car. Like if you want to go and buy a good car, there is a scarcity in the market, right? Markets में आजकल cars के लिए आपके पास एक लंबी waiting होती है. And if you ask generally what is the reason, the reason cited is only one, that the chip is not there. So that chip is manufacturing is you need neon gas to manufacture that chip. And because Ukraine cannot supply it more, the chip production will go under little stress. The second point is crude and crude derivatives used in tire manufacturing account for about 18 to 20% of raw material cost of tire makers, right? That's another point to be remembered, that because if crude price is going up, crude derivative prices are going up, even the tire prices will go up, right? So that means the raw material for tires will go up, and in general, cumulative rise in raw material price will actually be later on passed on to the consumer, right? And then it also really means that if it is not passed on majorly to the consumers in the automobile sector, then at least the gross margins of auto manufacturers may drop. So the sector that you need to keep on radar as of now, there are two of them. The first one is oil and gas sector. The second one is the auto ancillaries, right? Tire manufacturing companies, and then you're going to talk about Motherson Sumi, JBM Auto. A lot of companies are there which basically deals with autos and auto ancillaries. That should be on your radar, and you can wait for a right time to invest in them. Now, the sectors which may benefit from this war, although war never benefits anybody, but there are some, if the war is confined to a particular area, there could be some benefit to another area. So in this whole, skirmish or the war, steel sector will be the major gainer as export opportunities may increase. So you should know that Ukraine and Russia account nearly 10% of total global steel export. Now, because both of them are tied up in war, what's going to happen? This 10% share of steel export is going to go to other countries. Sanctions on Russia may improve export opportunities for India, right? And the next is EU imports nearly 30 million tons of steel, of which originates from Russia and about 10% from Indian steel market. So this 30 million, out of this only 10% from Indian steel market. That means India will become the major supplier. So before I proceed on further, I just want to show you how markets were affected yesterday. First of all, this is the crude price, which has been going up ever since December, right? December, it was about $66 per barrel, and today it stands at about $199 per barrel. So this is an escalation that's taking place in crude. And here you can see the companies which were top gainers: GAIL, Hindalco, Tata Steel, Jindal Steel, Petronet, SAIL, BEL, VEDL, JSW, BPCL. Almost all companies which are top gainer are from steel sector or from gas and oil and gas companies. So that you must always remember that stock market is nothing but the reflection of news in the news, and you should interpret the data by looking at the market. Now it's very evident the companies which are going to benefit are going to be the steel companies for sure, right? As I have explained you that where this supply, as Russia has imposed a ban upon sanctions on Russia may improve export opportunities for India. So if this ban is imposed on Russia, that means they cannot do transactions, they cannot do any business prospects with other companies. All the, like European Union and US, whichever were importing a lot of steel, now the biggest supplier is going to become India, and that's going to help Indian steel market. Now, the United States on Thursday said it will block assets of large Russian banks, impose export controls aimed at the nation's high-tech needs, and sanction its business obligations. Now, if you have a look at it, the heavyweights, Russia is a major supplier of key raw materials like palladium, platinum, gold, oil, gas, nickel, wheat, aluminum, coal, and copper. Now, palladium is again a metal which is used in manufacturing. Some parts of it's a precious metal, palladium and platinum. These are very precious metals, and they are used in manufacturing of some components, some part of the components. So this is going to become, now let's just conclude. So the biggest worry at this point of time is the rise in the crude prices. Now, if crude prices go up, our physical deficit will also go up, inflation will go up. As the inflation is going to go up, because crude prices is going up, RBI is not increasing the rates, right? Now, what will happen? Because they need to meet up with the physical deficit. They will increase the price, the inflation will go up, and there will be a repercussion. A lot of earnings will be compromised. So there is going to be a definite effect on Indian economy because of this war, right? A lot of negative effect, but some positive effect, as I told you, that we may have we may get, you know, the sectors which may benefit from this entire war is basically steel, particularly in metal sector, the steel sector, and the oil and gas companies. Whereas the negative impact is going to be on the crude price. It may further go up, and if it goes up, you know, inflation may go up, industrial output may go down, and manufacturing cost and consumer prices may be also auto manufacturing cost and the consumer prices may also go up. So these are the factors that I could analyze for you all. But in case you want live updates, you can join me on Twitter, you can join me on Telegram, and definitely you can watch learning videos on my YouTube channel, which is stockpro. So all the best, guys. Remember that at the time of war, markets are very nervous. Trade carefully, but it doesn't means that market will not bounce. Market has all the probabilities of bouncing, and the recovery could be even a V-shaped recovery. So all the best, and stay tuned for a bang on trade tomorrow. All the best. See you guys. Take care. Bye bye.